Hello, this is Sunil Sundaraj with njvarsity.rivals.com. I'm happy to welcome in Ramapo High School Football senior quarterback Charles DePrima. Charles, thanks for taking some time out to speak with me today.
No problem, Sunil. Thank you for having
Con-
me.
You're welcome. Congratulations, Charles, on an absolutely stellar career there at Ramapo High School on the football field. You've had some time now to just sit back and reflect on what you were able to accomplish. I just wanted to ask you, just what do what comes to your mind first and foremost, Charles?
I mean, starting as a freshman, sophomore Rampo, I wasn't really like a big asset to the team, more of a role guy.
Mhm.
Not even on varsity. We had freshman team, and then we had a scout team and sophomores.
Mhm.
So then it felt good to finally get my opportunity as a junior. And everything I accomplished goes out to my teammates and coaches. Of course, like they taught me everything I know going through the program. So when
Yeah.
I finally got my shot my last 2 years, I took everything I learned and put it forward.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, Charles. Rampo's had a great legacy of quarterbacks. Learning from AJ Wingfield. Can you just talk about what it said with AJ, just working along with him, and then there was, of course, can't forget Chris Valvano. Just can you talk about that, Charles?
Yeah, well, as a sophomore, I was on AJ's undefeated season team,
Hmm.
so I learned a lot from him because even though I think I was third string that year, I was still able to learn like and see everything he was doing. I was part of all the meetings, part of all the practices, so I took a lot of that into mine. And then through the off season, going into my junior year, I made sure to keep in contact with him always. AJ always helped me out, and we still throw to this day. We still talk a lot, so very good mentor for me, and I'm happy to have him.
Yeah, just to be a part of that, undefeated, said winning season, a sectional, a regional championship, to go to MetLife Stadium. Can you just, just what that meant, like, just that team, the 2018 team, Charles.
Well, that team was a good example setter for that junior class, and then the sophomore class who would take over the team next year.
Hmm.
They preached a lot of the family and caring about your teammates stuff, and they proved that clearly it results in winning if you're going to care about your teammates. So
Yeah.
it set a good example for the next years to come.
I had to ask you, going to 2019 season, Charles, as far as your training and just, working with running backs, offensive line, wide receivers, just, what you were able to do. And then, of course, just a phenomenal year. Again, back-to-back sectional and regional championships, another and back-to-back undefeated, seasons. I mean, a 26-game winning streak. I mean, can you just walk me just, prior to the season starting, what you were able to, work on, as you headed into that regular season?
Yeah, so prior to 2019, I had a lot of like personal lifting and throwing stuff to better myself to be able to start that year. So yeah, I prepared myself a lot, and then once that stopped, I had to take that and start preparing with the team.
Yeah.
So yeah, that team was very raw to start. Nobody really like the chemistry wasn't there until I firsthand watched the chemistry really form because that team became very close and very like well knit towards when the game started. But training camp it was a little rough because we had a lot of rebuilding to do because a lot of the seniors left, but we all worked hard and it worked out.
You worked with had great teammates, great players, especially running backs, Luke Ragon, Jake Tyrone, Rich Sicka, and then of course the wide receivers as well. Can you, and then, offensive lines, said, as far as, the passing protection and then the run blocking as well. Can you talk about that? I mean, just incredible players you've been able to, be on the field with, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, speaking on 2019, we had JT, we had Richie rotating,
Yeah.
two great running backs. Our offensive line was all seniors. They were very good that year, so that wasn't an issue. And then our receivers stepped up for sure. Yeah, and the defense played well too.
Yeah.
It felt great to be around such a great team, and I loved how everyone cared and everyone executed, which made us go undefeated that year. So that was great.
Yeah. I mean, you guys had I mean, to maintain that undefeated winning streak, a couple of games that were very close went down to the wire, especially the game against Wayne Hills where you did get injured, and then Chris Valvano stepped in and able to guide the team to the victory. Can you talk? I mean, just the resiliency of that team. I said again, Charles.
Yeah, so Chris stepping in and winning that game is just a pure example of the culture that we had, how everyone just cares about winning and winning at any circumstance and next man up mentality, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Chris just coming into that game just really gives a straight example as to what we were built and what we were made of that year as a whole team. Everyone would step up for whoever needed it.
And you had 3 playoff games, Charles, all at home, being able to win those. I mean, there was that barn burn against West Side, Newark West Side, winning 49-40. And then, it was a heavyweight duel against Pascagoula Valley, but you guys were able to, put it out there in the second half. What was that, ride like, especially with those 3 playoff games there at Ramapo High School?
Well, those last 2 playoff games, those were just showing like what our team was really made of. The West Side game, we were able to prove that we can compete in a shootout in the clutch. And then the PV game showed that we can get the job done at the end of the game when it's needed, no matter what, no matter how the game went before that, with that offensive drive to win it, and then the defensive stop. So those playoff games really just they just showed how our team can do more than just win games by a lot in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean the numbers you were put up were mind-boggling. I said again, I'll get into being I said both a dual threat with the passing and running game, but especially I think it was in the Parsippany Hills game where the regional championship there at MetLife, rushing for I think 200 yards there and passing for another 114 yards, and then Jake Tyrone I think close to 200 yards rushing. I mean, to have that, between you and, Jake, especially last year, I mean, how cool is that? I mean, that both you guys, be able to put up those numbers in, that game, Charles.
Yeah, we just do it for each other. Every time JT grinds out and he would run and he would take all the hits for me. He would open it up for me and get the focus on him. And then once I would start breaking out some big ones, they would key on me and he would take it. So it was a pretty good 1-2 punch we had.
Hey, just talk about the, going back to MetLife for a second year in a row, Charles, and said being able to finish it out in convincing fashion like that. I mean, what did that mean to you personally?
Oh, me personally, I had a rough first half that game. I just remember that game pretty vividly.
Mm-hmm.
That meant a lot to come out, and I think I was like 8 for 8 in the second half or something like that. So that was a good personal win. And honestly, all the work I put in that year to win the job early and then show that what I can do leading a team. So personally, that felt great to win it with all my guys. Yeah. And we all put in so much effort, and I loved winning that. It was a great feeling.
Coming into this year, you didn't know if you were going to get onto the football field, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic, Charles. I just wanted to find out from you, especially with the seniors and even the rest of the team, that what were all the emotions that you guys were feeling? Then once you got that, green light, that you guys were going to have a season, just if you can, walk everyone through that.
Yeah, everyone had mixed emotions. Some people positive, some people negative, obviously. But yeah, I mean, we all just kind of wanted to look at the positive side and hope we were going to play something. I mean, we all really early during Corona, we thought we were going to just have a regular real season until it just kept going and going. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, we didn't have real practices in summer, so that was always giving us a doubt.
Yeah.
We just kind of went with the flow and didn't really want to give any opinions, so we didn't want to jinx anything.
I know it was, again, a difficult year. I mean, the undefeated winning streak ending at 27 games. But I wanted to ask you about that first game that you guys, stepped onto the field and, just, at home, what that, just what you guys, I mean, just being able to take the field and, what did that mean to you guys?
I mean, it meant a lot. We had a very rough off season. We barely even knew some of the guys on our team. Mm-hmm. So it felt pretty good to go out there with my guys, the ones that we've been there through all 4 years, some of the seniors, the juniors who were starting. So yeah, that felt really good, and we were electric that game, which was amazing.
Yeah, I had to ask you about the win over East Orange. I mean, just That was an outstanding game, and the numbers you put up in that win. I mean, what what was that like for you? You know, I said between you and Sean Clapp that day, Charles.
That game got scheduled on Thursday.
Yeah,
So honestly, the mindset between like me and Sean was that we were just gonna go out there and just try to have a field day with
yeah,
because we didn't really know what we were getting. We were just like, let's just go out there and show them what we got.
yeah,
Sean played a great game. They tried to man him up. Nobody could take him. So I took everything I can get with him, and then I tried to distribute when he would get doubled. So it ended up working out for us, and nobody was stopping our offense that day. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it said the schedule was crazy. You didn't know if you're going to play week to week here. You know, especially with everyone going into quarantine and positive test results. Uh, I mean, not being able to have that full season, and then of course, I had to ask you also. Last game. I mean, taking off that Ramapo uniform. I mean, it's never easy, for a senior. I mean, just again, what was going through your mind, Charles?
I mean, the 5 games is terrible.
Yeah,
I'm starting to get over it now, but
yeah,
it's just something you're never gonna get back. But yeah, you're never gonna get back that time with all your guys. Like we're all moving to college now,
yeah,
starting our own stuff. So
yeah,
it's definitely something that's gonna be heartbreaking forever. But I mean, we got what we could. We have some memories. That last game was really special, even though we lost. But yeah, that was a tight one. It was a fun one to be in. So yeah, I mean, taking off the uniform for the last time was probably a little heartbreaking. We only got 5 games in.
yeah. I wanted to ask you. I mean, even though you guys lost to Williamboro, I thought it was great because asking other people playing teams from like Central and South Jersey. You get to see like match yourself up, against these other schools. What was that experience like, playing in that type of game? And you guys almost pulled that out at the end in the fourth quarter. What was and of course with regional championship games, you play schools from other areas of the state. But what was that game? What did that represent? Like knowing that you guys could go toe to toe with another team from a part of New Jersey here, Charles.
Mhm. It was a good matchup for us. I like that we scheduled that game because it really did show so we can match up with anyone we want. So yeah, I mean, it was a tough matchup. It was a pretty good game. But yeah, I enjoyed knowing that we can match up with someone like them.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about head coach Drew Gibbs, the rest of the coaching staff, what they have meant to you in terms of your development, your progress here in the 4 years at Ramapo High School, Charles.
Yeah, Coach Gibbs gave me a good opportunity. My first year playing as a junior, he tested me a lot. He tested me mentally and physically, made me really earn that job. And honestly, just having that not given to me was a great thing in my opinion, because Coach Gibbs really prepared me to play that year,
Mhm.
and he prepared me to take on all the moments that I came through in. So a lot of credit to him, and everything that I do out there is a big credit to him and the coaches, because they do a lot of film work, particularly Coach Gibbs. He does a ton of film work, knows what plays to call during the week. And yeah, he sets me up for success. And the other coaches, like Coach Brian Gibbs, spend a lot of time with him doing film.
Mhm.
Those two in particular, Coach Nick Gattuso, he mentors us in the weight room. And all the other coaches I built a great relationship with too. So they'll be missed for sure.
Yeah. I asked you before, like in the 20 plus years that, Coach Gibbs has been there. I mean, he's been just had a great neck for developing quarterbacks, and you've seen that legacy. Just to be a part of that group, to see the quarterbacks have come through, Ramapo High School. I mean, what does that mean to you, Charles? Knowing that, I mean, how much you were able to contribute to the success of Ramapo High School football.
I mean, it means a lot because as a kid, I used to watch them. As a young high schooler, freshman, I used to watch them and think, oh wow, like I wonder if I'm ever going to be that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it means a lot because knowing that I was able to contribute to the great program of Rampo, it's an honor, honestly.
Yeah. I know before this season started, you were working was it with the Phil Sims? There's a training school. I wanted to ask you about that, Charles, that you were doing quite a bit of work with that. And I wanted to ask you about, your, we know that with football, you got to train, consistently. It's 24/7, 365. Can you talk about, that part of your game, working on the fundamentals as well in the off
Yeah,
season?
I really started working for my junior year, which was in the winter of my sophomore year, right after the season ended in like
Mhm.
December. I started going with Phil and Matt Sims. They helped develop me big time. I took in what they were teaching me, and I gained a lot of power through my weightlifting too.
Mhm.
I honestly just put it all together that year, and that's really what developed me.
I mean, how good is that? I mean, you've seen plenty of quarterbacks that are, again, dual threat, both in the passing and running game. I mean, when you're locked in like that, I mean, I can you describe, I mean, just what it that feels like during the course of a game where you're able, the defense, simply can't prepare for what you're going to bring to the table. I mean, can you talk about that, Charles?
Yeah, I mean, ever since a youth player, it's been like that. It's been like that for a long time. I've been able to run. I've always
Yeah.
just worked on throwing, but the running thing always just came naturally. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good feeling, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
All right. So committed to Harvard University, signed your letter of intent. Congratulations on that. I'm sure, for you, your family, it's just a really special moment. I had to ask you, what, made Harvard University the perfect, choice for you, in decision, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted a lot of the schools that decided to talk to me had their academic aspect to them.
Hmm.
So obviously, if I'm going to try to do academic and football blend, my main goal was going to be the top of the top for that, which is D1 football and best academic. So
Hmm.
Harvard was at the top for me at all times, no matter who I was talking to. And when they finally pulled the trigger, it was a pretty easy decision.
Right. I mean, to attend the Ivy League school, I mean, that's prestigious, Charles. What I mean, again, it's the cream of the crop. It doesn't get any better than that. I mean, just what is that? It must feel really good. It said knowing that. I mean, it said having that combination of academics and athletics, but just what that means. Attending Harvard.
It means a lot because through these years of high school, I've been able to realize that there's been a lot of opportunities that I missed and stuff like that. So all I see now is a huge opportunity, and I'm just going to make sure I make the most of it.
Yeah. I just wanted to go back to Ramapo High School, the support that you received from the school, from students, athletic director Ron and Nell, administration, Charles.
You asked that again, you're cutting out.
Yeah, sure. Just the support you've received from Ramapo High School, students, athletic director Ron and Nell, the administration there, and then even the town as well of Franklin Lakes there. Can you just talk about that?
All right. Well, Ramapo's a community school. A lot of people support it in terms of like Franklin Lakes and
Yeah,
White Coast.
White Call.
I'm from Oakland, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's the community loves it. So that's always a good thing to get support from that.
Yeah.
In terms of staff, like and Ron and Elle and all them, yeah, I mean they do a great job supporting us and providing for us with everything that we need. So it's very good to have the staff and all them supporting us because we know we're a priority to them.
Yeah. I don't want to forget about the alumni as well. You've seen them at the games. I mean, year after year, they come back, and you said you've stayed in touch with them. How important that is, to Ramapo High School and the football team. Can you talk about that, Charles?
I mean, I respect them greatly for that because they know that they can't play anymore. So I'm starting to understand how that feels, and now they want to fulfill that emptiness with helping out the guys that are there now, and we love it. We love hearing from them. So we love hearing from the guys that mentored us once, and it's honestly a great thing when we talk to them.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the academic, part. I mean, balancing it both out between academics and athletics. It can be, again, quite a challenge at times, between practice, your training, and then, with the games. I mean, just how you were able to, handle those rigors, Charles.
Yeah, I mean balancing it out is pretty tough, but as long as you just manage your time, it's able to be done. And I know I'm gonna have to do that at the next level too. So
Yeah.
I'm prepared to go full blown with that.
And is that just going back to football? Is that uh, we've seen public schools have an immense amount of success. Everybody talks about the parochials, non-public group threes, fours, here in North Jersey, Bergen County. But to be able to see how much Ramapo High School, I mean, has been put on the map here. What does that mean to you guys? I mean, to the school as well, Charles.
Yeah, it means a lot to be put on the map with those kind of schools because they get to pull from everywhere. They're pulling from guys out of state, guys from all over New Jersey, and we just pull from 3 towns. So it's a good thing to be recognized for sure.
Yeah. I just have a couple more. I can't thank you enough for the time, Charles.
No
I'm
problem.
just wondering, playing that quarterback position, when you look, to college and the NFL or, any NFL, I mean, any quarterbacks, excuse me, that, that you look up to and you try to like, again, take away any, tidbits or nuggets away and, try to like, again, incorporate into your game.
Oh, I mean, pro quarterback wise, I like Drew Brees a lot. His leadership role really helps me motivate myself to become more of a leader. So I
Mhm.
always try to do that. So I gotta make sure I become more of a leader, and his examples help me really like get motivated for that.
Mhm.
His play is very good. I like the way he's like a field general, so that's a
Yeah.
good thing. So he's definitely my favorite quarterback. But all those guys show great examples too, no matter who I'm watching. So just make sure whenever I'm watching football on Sundays and Saturdays, even to take everything in that I could and try to learn from it.
Yeah. I can't forget about family, Charles. Your parents, siblings, what they've meant to you, here in your journey, said at Ramapo High School and, growing up. Can you just talk about them?
Yeah, I mean, they've supported me since day one, all through the youth programs. My parents always giving me what I need and always believing in me. And even in high school, even at my lowest point, which is for most people when they're not playing during JV and stuff,
Mhm.
not getting their opportunity yet because of all the seniors. So they still believed in me. They still push me, and I can give almost all the credit to them for sure.
Great. When you were growing up, Charles, beside, with football, were there any other sports that you played as well?
Yeah, youth. I played basketball, baseball. I played baseball my freshman year,
Okay.
and then I had to drop other stuff because my sophomore year, winter and spring, I just want to dedicate that all to making sure I was starting and playing and having
Mhm.
a good year my junior year of football.
What is it about football that makes the game so special for you, Charles?
Oh well, the position I play is very fun.
Yeah.
It's not as like, I mean, it's not as like rough and tough and like grindy,
Yeah.
you know. So not even that. I mean, we still get contact a lot. Trust me, it's not as little as you think. But I just like being able to lead the team, being able to control everything that's going down the field. Love having the ball in my hands every play.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what makes football special for me. And the team aspect of football is also what keeps me playing it all these years.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of bond. No other sport will ever live up to it.
Talk about that at Ramapo High School with that walk up the hill and then down the hill. Of course, I think it's really cool. Like, just the environment that's set up there. Where it's situated as far as the football field. Just talk about that tradition and just what that football field means to you at
Yeah.
Ramapo High School.
I mean, as a sophomore walking down, I always thought it was so cool to be one of the players walking down. And then as I progressed through the years,
Yeah.
yeah, it does really feel good to come. I mean, this year we didn't get to come from the locker room,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
my junior year it was a great ritual to do that every game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what is it like? When it's packed, previous years, students, the band, family, friends. I mean, just the electricity, in the stands. I think it's just one of the best environments, as I said, in Bergen County in North Jersey, Charles.
Yeah, the fans. I mean, we didn't really have them this year,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the junior year it does help. I mean,
yeah,
the fans coming, all your friends, all your family being able to watch you. It's something special. You get to put on a show for someone. I
yeah,
always enjoyed putting on the show for them. So yeah, I can speak for all my teammates and say that the fans are a great addition to playing the game.
yeah. My final question is that now being senior, you were able to pass down your knowledge and experience to the underclassmen, the freshmen. I mean, you were there at one point learning, as said, from the upperclassmen, and I'm wondering, like, also with younger kids, because I was, past years, covering games out there, you see a lot of kids on the field, and they're trying to figure out, okay, you know what? Do I want to play the game of football? Do I want to put in the work and be committed to this, 24/7? I'm wondering what your, now you what your advice would be, for younger kids and those freshmen, as said, and sophomores on the football team as
Yeah.
well, Charles.
We've been getting a lot of numbers, so I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of kids that come through.
Yeah.
My advice to them is that, like, no matter where you stand on the team, that you always have a role, and that no matter what, you're gonna eventually be able to get your opportunity to play. So just to stay motivated and stay confident. Like, my little brother's a freshman right now there, so he gets it firsthand, and I get to tell him everything I've experienced and
Mhm.
to make sure he keeps his confidence up no matter what happens.
All right, sounds good, Charles. I appreciate the time. Again, it's been a true honor and privilege, covering you, and again, congrats on your upcoming graduation, and then wishing you continued success, of course, at Harvard University next year, and looking forward to again following you there at Harvard.
Thank you very much.